This week, we're diving back into Season 1, Chapter 6, A Caged Hound, where Val finds that his journey has taken a dark turn and that his initial uncertainty about Edara was very well founded. Now, I've worked with my audio artist Zoran to infuse this chapter with more magic, more wonder, more incredible artistry, and along the way, we're taking a look back at the Seventh Valkyrie journey as we make our way towards Season 3. Welcome to the Seventh Valkyrie Listen Along. Let's rock and roll. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Valkyrie Listen Along. I'm your host Colin Sharp, creator and current voice of the Seventh Valkyrie. If you're a new listener coming through the series for the first time, awesome to have you. Welcome. And if you're a grizzled hero of Edara, it's great to have you back. In today's episode, as we mentioned before, we're talking about Season 1, Chapter 6, A Caged Hound. Spoilers all the way up to this, because we're going to talk about what came before. And that brings us into our first segment, which is Inside the Episode. In this chapter, Val comes to in the dark confines of a prison cell, where he's quickly able to assess that he's injured but not blinded, and that the hounds are mostly okay. Now, that doesn't mean things are going particularly well, though, and he starts trying to get his bearings. In the next cell over is a grimy, grizzled man who Val starts calling Rat. Now, Rat immediately picks up on the fact that Val isn't the average criminal, and alternates between trying to taunt him and recruit him. Now, Val gets kind of fed up, turns the tables, and tries to interrogate Rat with some strategic violence, but Rat's unhinged and very resilient, and this sort of results in a stalemate. Now, after a disappointing dinner, Meridia arrives to confront Val, bringing a clerk in tow, and after some harsh words between the two, they dig into the records to try to verify Val's claim about being part of the Light Corps. But the mystery that we have around Val's history and identity as the Iron Wolf grows even deeper here, because he is in none of the record books that Lon brought with him, not by name, not by rank, and when he reveals his soldier ID code, it is the Iron Wolf's, but that sets Meridia off so badly she nearly opens fire on Val with her bow right then and there. Now, she does restrain herself just barely, but with a threat of calling in the Red Guard, which is echoed by Rat, Val is left reeling once again, feeling like, oh man, what am I going to do about this? So that's what happens inside the episode. Now, I'll take you guys a little bit behind the scenes in our second segment called Outside the Episode. Now, Rat's voice is hilarious to me looking back at it. I do love him and his energy, but I wouldn't necessarily call this my most sophisticated voice acting. He does at times slip into just sort of cartoonish, like, oh, laddie. It's just, I'm aware of that. Now, if you're wondering where he is from, there actually is history there. It is close to where Meridia is from in the Borderlands, kind of on the edges of Edara, but he comes from a region a little bit closer to Mandus. There is, an explanation for that specific group of people exists in a specific region in Edara, but the accent was darn near magically delicious. Anyway, I think he ends up being a fun character because he was decently written. But I do like to at least be willing to poke fun at myself for the fact that this one was anyway. Getting back into it, prison sound effects and slop. Just the atmosphere of what Zoran brought to life here with the trays clashing down and people, and just the voice of the people in the cells really helped kind of immerse you in this situation. I think in previous writings, when I'd read it back, sometimes it kind of felt like it was just Cyrus and Cyrus Rat and the Meridian Lawn, when in reality, I mean, this is a full ass prison. So, anyway, it was really nice getting to fill in some other voices to help make it feel full. And then I like that in this chapter we get to layer on top some elements of this mystery, because the only person who has told us that Val is the Iron Wolf is himself and, a narrator who may or may not be unreliable. And so we're seeing this very vehement thing where even Val's kind of like has a moment of double taking, like, wait, what is going on? And as he's reeling, it kind of leaves us with Rat being like, well, buddy, you're fucked. So it is, I was happy with how that, the end of that went, and I'm glad that we get to continue to explore throughout the series this gap between Val's experience and, this myth. Anyway, that's a conversation for another time. If you're itching to get ahead, this episode of the Listen Along is done, but if you want to listen to more, you're not alone, and you can do that one of two ways. You can listen to the episodes as they were released right now, today, for free, or if you'd like to experience the full magic of the series, you can join us on Patreon as a hero of Edara and get exclusive access to the Season 1 reimagining weeks before it hits the public. Choice is yours. We're just glad to have you along for the ride as we journey on towards Season 3. Ciao for now, guys.